The long and winding road of the HCT circuit ends here at the World Championship. We are game number 5 between Hunterace and Viper, our finalists. And it's all going to come down to this. Everything on the line. The World Champion title is going to be given to one of these players, and it's down to Hunterace's Shaman and Viper's Zoo Warlock.
And before we get into it, I do want to give one final shout out to our crowd. They can't hear me right now. We're not being piped to the house because primarily they wouldn't understand a word we're saying. But there was a little worry, at least on my part, that when all the home country players dropped out before this final day, that the audience would be a little bit flat, a little bit less invested in what was going on. But I'm sure you guys have heard some of the reactions coming through our microphones. They have been fully into this and made this, played as much of a part as anyone into making this final feel as special as it has been.
With the Hearthstone we've seen, 1 for the last 4 days and 2 especially in this match, you would have to have a heart of stone to not be, involved and invested in this. And here we go.
It's in the opening hand. And this matchup on this stage, Control Shaman, Rafaam opening hand, this might be best case scenario for this build of the deck. Because Rafaam, if you look at it statistically, has an immensely high win rate when it's kept in the mulligan or when it's drawn in the mulligan. And there's an explanation for that. Shout out to Rebecca on Twitter who put this into words that I was looking for. When you have Rafaam in your opening hand, you can plan for it long term. You can keep resources in hand and you can make that Rafaam as powerful as possible when you play it on turn 7 by making sure you then immediately have access to a bunch of powerful legendaries.
He's putting his money where his mouth is. He kept the Rafaam.
This matchup as well, this is a very slow control deck that relies on exhausting all your resources, and it does not have infinite value, not in the sense that Dr. Boom has. Hagatha is a value engine, but it is not as oppressive as Dr. Boom is. So this is an infinite value engine that can be beat by a stream of endless legendaries. This scenario right now, in Game 5 of the World Championship Final, is the best case scenario for Archvillain Rafaam.
Let's see what it can do, and I am very interested because how do you even play this? How many cards do you hold? How slow do you go? How much do you life tap? Viper is here to teach us one way or the other, because we're going to find out. There has to be a winner. Hunterace answering this Argent Squire with an ooze. The rest of his hand not looking so fancy as far as I'm concerned, Sol.
Hunterace not really with a lot to go on either, just full air in his hand. Double Ancestral Healing, one of the most controversial cards, I'd say, to be running main deck in your Shaman in this tournament.
I like it. I'm a personal fan of that card at the moment.
Okay.
Abusive Sergeant is going to be used to proc this Sergeant Squire's attack and be able to kill off this ooze, and most importantly is a juicy target for this coin into Evil Genius. Hunterace, bit of a shrug. He's going, okay, well, you got me. You're doing the zoo things. Can I answer them? And these next few draws are going to be big. Hagatha's scheme, obviously not playable yet, but by the time he gets to turn 5, might just have enough damage to clear the board.
If you were going to draw an unplayable card, that was the one to draw. Hunterace just A, planning his future turns, B, representing to Viper that he might have something to do in his hand. Bluff the fact that you're debating a small Pyromancer clear here. Bluff the fact that you're debating just dropping an Acidic Swamp Ooze into this board. Not much of a bluff. You'd probably just do that anyway. But there are things that you have to represent so Viper doesn't have the full knowledge that you just have nothing to do right now.
It's a tough one. Outside of Totem Up Ancestral Healing, there is literally nothing to do. But Hunterace is going in the tank. I'm taking deep breaths myself, Sol. I'm not going to lie. I'm just watching these players is making me nervous, and I'm not even on the stage. Hovering some cards. Might end up with just a totem. There we go. Mainly, he wants Viper to think. The more he's thinking about other stuff, the less he's thinking about some other stuff.
That's all it was.
Split attention. Now the lackeys, just as a side note, Goblin Lackey is the +1 attack and rush, and Witchy Lackey is effectively an evolve, a +1 evolve.
But now, does any of that pay off for Hunterace? Representing that he might be thinking about Pyromancer, representing that he might be thinking about Lightning Storm, whatever other nonsense idea that he's trying to get into Viper's head. I think it's a little transparent. Viper should just be able to play his game here. But remember, he does also have to consider how much attention he wants to pay to that late game plan of Arcvillain Rafaam.
Yeah. What is his plan? Like that's the problem, isn't it? Like, I actually just don't know how much he's supposed to even play. He's just played 2 more minions. Yes, he has live tap.
Yeah.
But we've also seen Rafaam played in a position where there weren't that many cards left in the deck.
Right.
Which means you don't have tons of value, because it's like, okay, 5 random legendaries on average are quite bad.
Right.
And I have no answers to these questions. Second scheme means that there's a backup clear, but second scheme also means there's a whole lot of nothing to do yet again for Hunterace. I will say there was no truly explosive start from Viper. There was no, unanswerable flaming that's hit for 6 or 7 so far. It's slow in zoo terms, I'll say, but it is starting to heat up a little bit now with this knife juggler representing just a good chunk of damage.
And are we just going through the same song and dance again with Hunterace? Waiting for the rope. There are some more considerations this turn, both in cards that he could be representing that he's thinking about playing, but also in terms of legitimate concerns like, do I hex this knife juggler? Which is a real question.
Yep. Most importantly, though, I think Hunterace might be doing just anything he can to just stress Viper out.
He says no.
And it's also a weird backwards thing as well. The more my opponents pass as a control deck, the more I'm like, oh, I need to finish this game because they clearly have the late game stuff in hand, which, is not necessarily the correct way to think because you can be thrown off mentally by that. But it's something you have to think, right? If he's doing nothing, he's just played the news and passed every turn, then what the heck's in his hand? Because is that enough? Because Hunterace has passed? You just put a 1-1 in and go face and say, okay.
I mean, it seems just like a nice balance, right? Like, Hunterace has to scheme a board like that anyway, and by life tapping and playing minimal cards, he is setting himself up for that plan B of the Arcvillain Rafaam. It's just kind of a win-win situation for Viper right now.
I feel like it's just enough damage.
Yeah.
Test the juggle. Misses. Probably chucks the lackey in.
Yeah, I think hitting that juggle makes Viper's decision a lot easier this turn. If he hits that juggle, he gets to keep all of these minions and go face with them all. That is plenty to be in play.
He paid 1 abusive sergeant for that. It really is not a big investment. Okay, 2-4 from the evolve, and Viper committing a little bit more than I thought he would based on the Rafaam keep. I'll admit, this is not a playstyle I'm familiar with. So is he going to play the lesser scheme? 2 damage, clears the threats on the board, leaves a 2-2 up, and has a much bigger scheme to be able to just guarantee a clear later on due to any grim rallies, for example. Again, maybe hero power carpet to see what's cooking. I don't know. He might just want to dump his hand before Rafaam and say, I'll draw 1 to 2 legendaries a turn.
Looks like it.
He's pressuring Hunterace down to half health now.
Yep.
He's ooh. Oh. One more time. Oh. Okay. And is there only really one bad pull? Because funnily enough, wait, I should know this. Does the Mech Crew have rush if you steal it? Because the carpet?
It should do, yes.
Right. I'm not going crazy,
Once
right?
you give a minion rush, it has rush.
Right.
It does not.
Because it wasn't rush for this turn, is it? It just says give rush. Okay, well, there's some really good targets then. He gets the Mecharoo.
Yeah,
There's the trade into the flame. Viper's head goes down. And I'm just going to keep asking questions here. It's the best I've got. But with Rafaam kept, did he need to go 4 minions wide? 2 of which have rush, and 1 of them's a carpet. I don't know, but did he?
It's a great question. I mean, it's hard to argue with. You've gone in once, you've seen the scheme, you've got your opponent down to 15. Like, every fiber of the fact that you're playing an aggro deck says, my opponent has just used their best board clear and is at half of their health total. I'm going to push my chips in and try to kill them. That is just kind of the aggro philosophy.
Yeah, and let's be real here, Rafaam or not, we are striding towards crowning a winner because
we are.
It is soon. I feel it right now. It's going to happen very, very soon. But the decision-making here, one more time. Does he save cards for Rafaam? Because I honestly believe playing Rafaam with an empty hand and then drawing the legendary and then having to maybe tap into another one, which you probably then can't play, is rough. Or it's low impact.
It's very slow.
It's so bad. I think you do need a choice of legendaries to get the highest chance of something good. Viper's going in, though. He's saying, you know what? You just did 2 powerful anti-aggro things. Please don't have a third. But we can see Scheme or Giggling Inventor are great choices here. And now there's the Brew. Hex for the Rafaam as well next turn if he wants.
I can present an additional theory here, which is Viper has not wanted to sit back and life tap too much because he doesn't want to push himself too close to fatigue. Whereas with Rafaam and drawing 1 per turn, he does feel like he outvalues the Shaman over the long term because, again, it's not like there's Dr. Boom, Omega Devastators and so on. And he is playing the even longer game by not life tapping and filling up his hand for the immediacy of a strong Rafaam that hits a handful of cards.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's true.
Just a theory.
Yeah, I mean, it's all we can work on. Because, again, I've not tried exactly this playstyle versus exactly this deck.
It's a theory, but it's not one that I'm really sold on. I think what's actually happening is that Viper has smelled blood and just tried to kill his opponent after his opponent had a very, very weak start.
Another absolutely reasonable conclusion. And now, solved. It's now or never. Arch-Villain Rafaam.
Okay!
He kept it in his hand. It's on 7. Subject 9. Mediocre. Nat Pagel. Very arguably mediocre to bad. It does not kill Hunterace. And also, if you're talking about the fatigue, then it's a bad card because he won't want to draw extra. Or will he, if he wants to power him down with legendaries? I honestly don't know.
One way or another, Rafaam is deciding this championship.
Hex into Omega. Easily playable. Removes the Rafaam threat and then basically says, Hunterace basically saying to Viper, okay, how good is your average legendary, friend?
Yep.
Because we're about to find out.
And I would argue the answer to that is not good.
Let's see. Katrina. Okay, that's a good one.
Care to dance with death?
Okay, well, there's a lot of small minions, but there is a Rafaam. Okay, a 1-3.
Try crystal.
He's just seen the Hex. And I believe that 6-8 is not dying anytime soon.
Certainly looks that way. There is going to be a big old procession of zoo minions coming out from that thing over the next few turns.
Does he have to go for Swamp Queen? He is.
I think so.
He needs something big next turn.
Yep.
He can pair it with Ancestral Healing. He can play Ancestral Healing next turn. Let's see what he gets. Voltaic Burst looks the best to me, but there is Elemental Reaction if he wants to draw.
Yeah, I think
Rain
draw
of
a card is
Toads
the option.
or Storm. Sign me up.
Rain of Toads. Draw a card, Rain of Toads, I think is what he will have picked,
Yep.
and yes, it is.
I like it. Does he taunt up the Hagatha? How scared are you?
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Okay.
You're asking for your opponent to have some kind of legendary that leverages from hand and kills this 2-6 to allow the 6-8 to do anything truly scary.
It's a big ask.
I think, if anything, taunting up the 5-5 gives Viper a better attack by just killing the 5-5 with the 6-8 as opposed to the 2-6.
Yeah, I was just thinking because of potential Lightning Storm next turn. Maybe you're okay with that, but maybe you can do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that just moves the ball from your court to your opponent's court, right, by taunting it up.
Taunt Totem, definitely not bad. Solves that problem in my book.
No words.
Nope.
Azalina, as if the game was not already ridiculous enough.
I can wait to finish.
Let's see what I have to play around. Azalina Soul Thief. Viper, first things first, he checks the horror. Realizes that Hunterace has a very powerful tempo turn, and look at Casper's face.
I don't even know how to respond. Not only does Viper fill his hand with cards that actually do something, he also has now full information -1 card of this draw as exactly what's in Hunterace's hand. That is a fantastic draw.
Even Viper, one of the most stoic Hearthstone players I've ever seen in my life, cracked a smile when that frog appeared.
I will tell you now, this grand final and this game has not disappointed in any way, and it's not even over yet. The walking fountain, I guess Hunterace is just thanking something that the walking fountain wasn't already in his hand too, because that would be truly grim.
Viper also solves the mystery of what on earth was going on with Hunterace's early game. Oh, he had double ancestral healing in his hand. Okay, that makes sense.
Now Viper gets his own rain of toads. It's a frog off.
And that's what's kind of scary to me in this scenario, is that if Hunterace doesn't play his big tempo card first here, Viper has the option to do it before him and really push him onto the back foot.
He does have walking fountain, which farms some of the toads. Yeah, this is a big turn.
There we go, I like this.
And, you know, Viper's not going to roll spell damage because he's a warlock.
Yeah.
The Froggy Boys jump down. Even the healing totem getting a little bit of value. And there's Grifter. Discover 2 cards. Give 1 to your opponent, 1 to yourself at random.
Yep.
Crazy card. Not the best constructed card in the world. But again, Viper could play it.
And in case that's confusing anyone, you see 3 cards, you pick one. You see 3 cards again, you pick one. The game then decides which of those 2 cards you pick go to you or your opponent.
Viper's hand actually just isn't that good.
I mean, the Azalina is so, like, I can't emphasize enough how big that Azalina is, because it gives Viper's Rafaam deck something to do that isn't just playing an idiot every turn.
Guys, we're getting Grifter in the deciding game of the World Championship. Okay, what does Viper pick? Because these decisions get hard. Do you want to give Hunterace a good minion?
What is my life right now? What even is Hearthstone?
The problem with Grifter is you hand over a lot of the time the tempo to your opponent because you give them a minion or something with full mana. You have to spend mana playing Grifter. So you lose a certain amount of tempo. Let's see what the picks were. Stranglethorn and Gurubashi Berserker. So he just picked 2 5-drops, 2 decent cards.
I guess.
Hogger. Frogger. And now we're just going to see what happens, because this game has evolved into a true mess in the best of ways. Hunterace has to just be careful here. He is overloaded.
Overloaded enormously.
Yeah, only on 5 mana. He needs to make this 5 mana work very nicely for him, and I believe that's going to include hexing a 5/5 to keep his frogs alive.
Oh, in a deck full of legendaries, that's terrifying though. Hex a 5/5 and all manner of things can be in those remaining 13 cards.
That's true, but I think you need to make some strides. I don't think he can have a lackluster turn.
I mean, the big problem is that he can't play many of his other cards because the way this board is pared down, he can't kill off any of his own minions to be able to play, for example, Ziliax.
He's got to take double heal. That healing totem doing work. It keeps the Drustvar Horror alive because Lightning Storm cannot be spell damaged yet. Yes, there are cards that may change that, but yet. This Lightning Storm will not kill this 5/3 off as it does become a 5/4, similar to potential low rolls as well on some of the frogs. Glass Knight, not bad at all, and an Archmage Vargoth Lightning Storm. Sign me up, Soddle, because that will do it. I know it, you know it, Viper knows it, and let's be honest, if you can hear that, the crowd definitely know it.
Vargoth Lightning Storm. He's a Warlock, and he's casting Vargoth Lightning Storm this turn, Raven.
It's not fair, Sol. Viper, though, this is huge. And Hunterace's face, just watch the face of a man who's about to get wrecked.
If Viper even plays it, he bails out.
He doesn't know because of the overload.
So many possibilities.
But I don't think you can just leave stuff up. I think it's too much of a swing. Look at the damage he push.
Almost out of time.
He kills off the 5-2. He can trade in and still push for 5 and not worry about that 5-2. Or do you think he passes? I think he pushes 5 damage. Oh, he passes. Okay. Hunterace can't believe it. Now he has to keep his composure. There's a mic.
Every draw.
Woo!
Every draw is like a boxer in a Rocky movie just throwing another enormous right hand at his opponent.
The only difference is it's a modern one, so of course the film is 3 hours long. There's the steal on the 5-5. Looks good to me. Yes, Vargoth might have been flashier, but there weren't spells that really benefited at this point. And now the low cost turn here. 6.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's the spell damage.
Was Viper the chosen one all along? Was Rafaam the chosen one all along?
The redemption story of Rafaam and Sottle. Is he going to have the last laugh? The big deal here is 6 mana. The heavy overload from the double lightning storm means that Viper has less mana to play with. That is the air quote punish for having that amazing turn last turn.
It's starting to matter less and less because Hunterace's deck does not have the tools to beat this level of gas.
Behold!
Did Vargoth just summon a 2-2? No, he did not. It just looked funny with the animations. Hunterace now does have the walking fountain and a reheal to start chipping away at this board. He does have minions that feel more impactful trade-wise available to him.
Yep.
That is a bonus. That is something he has to keep in mind, and he has to keep his calm. There is, frankly, silly things happening right now in this game of Hearthstone. That's basically the most important game of Hearthstone these two players will ever play in their lives, almost certainly. But he has to keep his cool. What is the best play? How can he progress in this game? And I think making just use of this board he has is extremely important. And Hunterace saying a fond farewell to this Vargoth and saying, no more, friend, no more. Cancel off the Nat Peggle if he wants, but does he want? Can just Ancestral Heal and call that a day.
I think Hunterace has to establish himself as the aggressor here.
Yeah. Like I said, he has the minions that can trade, right?
Yeah.
On Dasta.
There's a Stranglethorn Tiger in his hand.
It will summon a
There's
tiger.
a freaking Stranglethorn Tiger in his hand, Raven, that he picked from a grifter.
That he might not have got.
He's playing Zoo.
Why do we even need notes? You can't prepare for this. There we go. That you may have heard is Sol ripping up Viper's Zoo list. We don't need Zoo cards anymore. We've got every card in Hearthstone. Hunterace just cannot believe it. He's receiving mental blow to mental blow. Farsight now. It's going to be able to dig him a little bit deeper and maybe get what I feel now is a trademark Hagatha pull from this Farsight.
I feel like he needed Hagatha several turns ago. I feel like all of these minions that are in play right now needed to generate value for him if he was going to keep up with this from Viper.
Unity, precision, perfection.
Nice little extra impact there with that Annoyatron sticking to the board. Means now that's a 4-4 rush with the lifesteal, and the Divine Shield's going to make it stick around. Risa, whatever. Sorry, you're a decent card.
It feels like...
But it doesn't matter.
It feels like the first draw in the last 6 or 7 that hasn't just felt like a giant punch to the face.
Except he can play it with Risa, Windrunner. He does gain a weapon. And maybe he wants the spell damage for the sick Calighost.
Yeah.
Now the Viper, if he's hovering this Giggling Inventor, he feels under threat, and kind of so he should.
He absolutely is under threat. There's a lot of damage being represented on the board.
I'll say the good thing for Hunterace now is he's seen most of the Azalina cards, right?
Yep.
So now he's back to almost, well, he's got random legendaries. Let's see what this far sight's going to be, though.
6
that
mana Shudderwock.
Okay. That is a high value minion right now. Does he want to play it before Hagatha? Because he's the aggressor with the minion focus? He doesn't want to deal 3 to his own board?
It's possible, but he does have the Twilight Drake in his hand, which does make it better on the following turn anyway. But I like your thinking. It's a very, very good Shudderwock right now.
He gets a Drusvar again.
He gets a Drusvar again, and he casts the Battle Cry of the one that he's already played again.
Mind Control Tech.
Mind Control Tech. Giggling Inventors. And is this Gurabashi Berserker that Viper gave to Hunterace going to be a potentially game-winning card?
Why are we saying this in the last game of a World
Because this is our lives now, Raven. This is what we do.
Now there's a Houndmaster Shore. It means Glass Knight can attack in the same turn it's played.
With Witch's Brew. Synergy.
It took me a minute to realize. Why are we casting Hunter, Paladin, Mage, Shaman cards in Zoo?
One last time for old sake. It's pronounced Shaman.
Oh, no.
Come on!
Take the Shudderwock!
Game now, you're just being silly.
My pack will hunt you down.
5-1 going into a 5-6 removes a huge amount of the problem for Viper. 4 minions in play, though. And Viper is going to value trade. The mind control tech in this Shudderwock is live.
Sign Hunterace up for 1 Shudderwock, please.
It's got to be the walk.
Yeah, it's not getting any better, right? Yes, you kill 2 minions. You can kill off the shore, you can kill off the 1-2, leave 2 4-attack minions on board. The Walking Fountain, whether you heal it or not, is dead if you do that, if that is the play. Hex, you've got to say, has limited impact right now. Farsight, if it draws Hagatha, like I said, I don't think that's good enough. Hunterace is hovering the walk. He's got a Farsight. He's still very ahead in fatigue. With 2 cards now. That was a 4-mana Giggling Inventor. He can still walk. But now he might gig first to go wider. He doesn't. He goes now, and you know what? Let's just see what's going to happen.
There's the big health. He does, even though the Omega Defender didn't activate the first time around, it does still just recheck again.
Woo!
And look at all this value. Look at all this board pressure.
That walk has just opened up lethal as 16 attack and 16 health. Means Viper has to be a little bit worried. High Priestess Jetlick means that he's going to be a taunt with Lifesteal along with Witch's Brew. Means that there's a chance. But there is frankly 1 million attacks on the board for Hunterace now.
Remember, everything has rush.
Oh, Viper is putting his tournament life on the line with a Caligos. That doesn't look good to me. The best he can do is a Witch's Brew, and isn't he just dead?
He has 0 mana destroy a minion.
Demon Ball!
He has 0 mana destroy a minion, Raven.
I'm an idiot. Oh, I can't take much more of this, Sol. Where's the Saronite Chain Gang? Because I don't know how much longer this can go on.
Sometime. Viper has a Witch's Brew in hand, which shuts down any kind of aggressive push from Hunterace.
What does the Drusvar do?
It's a great question.
Can we get a Drusvar check? Feral Spirit, Totemic Smash, fairly minimal. It is more minions.
Not bad. Feral Spirit is good. You take that. Off a random Drusvar, you take that.
And remember, the Totemic Smash is aimable. It is not just like throw it out there Zul'jin style.
Right.
You can aim that 2 damage, which might end up being clutch.
Right. This Caligos has to go, right?
Why?
It's a 4/12. Is there going to be a bigger thing to Hex in those remaining 4 cards?
It is only dealing 4 a turn with 1 attack, Sol. I don't think it does.
Okay.
There are no spells outside of one Witch's Brew. Nat Pagel.
That is air. 100% pure air. That will disappear into the ether when Azalina is played as potentially the last card of the game for Viper.
Now, does Viper have to make a gamble, Azalina, and hope there is a spell that he can cast for free to save him?
Witch's Brew. He already has it.
Next turn then. He goes up to full, but I mean, he can use it all, the whole Witch's Brew this turn, but can he afford to?
Does he have any other options?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's just a very slow turn.
Sorry, just look at this Glass Knight just chilling. Oh, another Divine Shield. Oh, another Divine Shield.
He is going to stop and drop the Jet Click,
Yeah.
which I do agree with. I think he needed to do something else this turn. So that's 2 mana. He's only got 3 cards left, so I can't see the Pagel getting anything done here. He may as well Witch's Brew.
But is it on a minion or his own face?
I think Howlmaster Shaw. I see a lot of 4 attacks there, Sol.
Going to the face.
Okay. Well, look, we're stomping towards the end here. There's still no Hagatha drawn.
That's outrageous. Hunterace is staying relatively toe-to-toe here without even having access to his Hagatha.
Turns out Shudderwock's hell of a card.
And Viper has a chance of stealing the Hagatha for himself if he can time the Azalina.
But he's got no minions left. Mike, kill off this Glass Knight once and for all after the Frank taunts with this this Divine Shield that keeps proccing no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, that Glass Knight gained like 6 Divine Shields last turn, but it doesn't quite work that way.
Nope. Again, Hunterace on full health and slightly ahead on fatigue. But you've got to say, just has more access to heal potential than Viper does because of the Hagatha coming down eventually. I think Hunterace is too far ahead, Sol. Outside of a Deathwing, in which I'm staring at a Hex. That might be what Hunterace is saving the Hex for, you know. Literally a Deathwing.
You might be right.
What one card beats him now?
You might
Deathwing
be
off
right.
the top, slam it game.
Does this 3-2 change the equation more than a random Hagatha card later?
Nosdormu, that doesn't look good enough to me.
All right, here's the standard of how ridiculous this game is. Nosdormu was drawn, and you could hear a pin drop in this arena. No one cares about Nosdormu. That is the standard we've set.
This is it, Azalina for a dream. And there's the 0 mana Hex because Kalikos is still on the board, but Sottle, is it enough?
Pyromancer as well. That's kind of the business right now.
My lord.
Second Azalina after the Rafaam as well. Still no Hagatha for Hunterace.
Drustvar Horror looks good to me. Totemic Smash can clear off one of these minions. Even gain a totem, which I think any minion is good right now.
Yep.
And maybe he just pushes.
It's coming back right at him, though. He knows. He knows the very same thing is coming back. This is now quickly becoming a fairly solvable situation on both sides.
Surely he wants to go first, though, right?
Oh, for sure. It's just when I say that, I'm saying he's considering, do I play Pyros with it? Do I play 1 Pyro with it, 2 Pyros with it? What am I going to do to leverage my 2-3s against his 2-3s next turn?
Is this going to be double Pyro? Oh, he's just he's going for the Horror, right? Going for the Horror on the Pyro. Viper literally has no spells left in the deck unless some legendaries, or his last 2 legendaries generate them.
Yeah.
And I think Hunterace might just be 1 step ahead because Totemic Smash does not deal with this board.
He chooses to not overkill as opposed to overkill, though, which is kind of interesting in that scenario. Gruul.
The Dragon Killer, I believe, is the full title, not official. Nelson, of course, but still. That's a big minion, but is 1 big minion enough? There's only 1 more draw left, and unless that Gruul is played and hexed, and the next draw is Deathwing, I think that's going to be it. But we've said that about 50 times this series, so quite likely to be wrong. You are right, though. Hagatha, bottom 3 as hero form. He has played Swamp Queen, but not Hagatha the Witch. That would have... Hunterace's hand would be full right now.
He's kept up. He's somehow he's kept up.
His hand will be full. And Viper's Azalina twice.
Yes. For what? 4 cards and somewhere in the region of 5?
I think
wasn't the first one bigger? I thought the first one was significantly
like
bigger.
six,
yeah.
I think. Here we go, though. Viper's just saying, I've got to do this and hope it's enough. I can play the Wild Pyromancer.
That's all he's got.
And now he's slightly ahead on board. He's only overloaded for 2, which means Gruul can be played next turn.
He now has this board, plus a Gruul, plus 1 random legendary minion remaining. That random legendary minion can be another Azalina, and then we're back to square one again. It can be all manner of things. It can be a Janalai.
It can. The big question is this Hex. And Hunterace would probably love to save minions for Hagatha, but he cannot fall behind his Blood Mage Downers! That is terrible! There are better non-legendary 2-drops at the moment in time.
And that is game.
I don't know how he fishes himself out.
I'm looking at our answers on Hunterace's board and in Hunterace's hand for everything that he needs to answer. The board pairs down evenly right now. There's a Hex for Gruul. Blood Mage is irrelevant.
Blood Mage gets him to death quicker because of the fatigue. And without even I think a drawing Hagatha would win him this game. Purely in fatigue at this point. Gruul has to be played. Viper's got no choice. And as you said, the board is even. But Viper knows there's a Hex. He knows. He hexed from the Azalina. He knows it's there. He knows Gruul's dead.
I'm almost out of cards.
And was that Swamp Queen?
That is Hagatha.
Sorry, not Swamp Queen.
Just the
Hagatha the Witch. Apologies.
The game's over.
But still, that looks like game to me.
It doesn't really matter. Hex this and take the damage from the 5/3 this turn, or play the Hagatha this turn and take the damage from the Gruul.
I think it's because he wants worst case. He wants like Pyro Hex, right?
Yeah. Worst case, best case scenario, he can kill this 8/5 without using a Hex, and then he beats Deathwing as the last card as well.
He can kill it now with Totemic Might.
Beautiful.
To clean it up,
Beautiful.
and I believe...
Even in a completely solved game, Hunterace finds a way to maximize his chances. And after beating a seemingly unbeatable Rafaam, everything came together for that deck in the situation we've been talking about all week. And Hunterace, without even access to his value generator, beats it out and becomes your new Hearthstone World Champion.
恭喜我们的 Hunterace 成为呢我们的2019博士战绩 HCT 世界总冠军。哇，最后呢以这神之右手解开了世界上最焦灼的战局，不止成为了运气最好，也成为了世界上最强的男人。现在心情怎么样呢？我们邀请 Forden 为我们来做赛后访问。Here's Forden for the winning interview.
Hunterace, that was an incredible finish to the World Championship. Please tell me, what is going through your mind this very moment?
刚刚这比赛实在太疯狂了，恭喜你获得世界冠军！可以跟大家分享一下你现在的心情吗
I don't know, it's pretty unbelievable. Like, that last game was like super tense. It's been like such a long journey to get here. And like, actually delivering now that I'm in the tournament and winning the tournament is so big for me. Like, it means so much. I'm incredibly grateful. I don't know that. Oof.
刚刚这比赛真的是非常的紧张，然后对我来讲，我也是专注了很久。这个冠军对我来讲意义非常的重大。
What was the hardest obstacle to overcome in order to become the world champion?
像一路走来你都很辛苦，你可以跟大家分享一下你目前一路走来遇到最困难、最难克服的事情吗？
I don't know, man. This entire tournament has been super hard for me. Like, there's been a lot of situations that I maybe could look back on and like tell you like super close decisions and such. But I don't know. I really just want to thank everyone that has been helping me throughout the preparation period, because I felt like that was the most crucial part of this tournament, because it was right after rotation and it was such a big deal what lineup you ended up bringing. And also I want to like give a huge thanks to like everyone in the Hearthstone community. Everyone has been so supporting and it's really incredible.
非常这一路打下来，非常多的困难，有很多很难的决定，然后有很多非常优秀的对手。那我可以一一的跟他们交手，然后做出最正确的决定，然后让我一路走到这边，我觉得很荣幸。
All right, my last question, Hunterace. You were the points leader. You were the promised one. You were the one that people were betting on packs. How does it feel to live up to the hype as the Wonder Boy of Hearthstone?
I don't know, it feels incredible. It's really amazing. Like, I can't really describe it. Like, it hasn't really gotten through me yet. I'm just like thinking of all random legendaries and everything is just going through my head. Like, it's amazing. Oof. Yeah. Oof. Wow.
他刚刚问他说，你在这几年的表现都非常的好，去年又拿到3星大师，又是全球分数最高的选手，那现在呢又拿到了世界冠军，证明你人中之龙的地位。那你这一路你现在的感觉是怎么样？然后 Hunterace 说，我觉得这一路走来非常不容易，那我非常感动，然后我也很荣幸我可以拿到这个世界冠军。
好的，让我们再次恭喜我们的 Hunterace! Congratulations! You are the winner of 2019 HCT World Championship! Okay, and we're going to present the trophy. Let's welcome the Senior Global Franchise Leader of Hearthstone Esports, Sam Braithwaite, and your 2017 HCT World Champion, Tom 60229. 掌声欢迎我们大哥以及我们的 Sam， 我们来进行颁奖。Please present the trophy to Hunterace! Woo! Congratulations! 再次热烈掌声给我们的 Hunterace， 也给我们所有的选手以及我们所辛苦的赛评以及我们的主播们。非常的感谢，那我们也请 Ford 最后帮我们来总结一下我们的 HCT。
It's been a wonderful journey throughout the past few years of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, where stars were made and dreams came true. And with our world champion, with all of the Grandmasters, everybody here from Blizzards and the talent, thank you for watching. And to the future of Hearthstone, we say thanks for watching and well played.
好了，再次给我们 Hunterace 以及我们所有的选手、主播、赛评还有辛苦工作人员一个热烈的掌声，也谢谢我们所有现场以及线上所有观众朋友们热情的参与，也请大家呢可以去支持我们接下来炉石战绩的大师系列赛，恭喜，也谢谢大家。Thank you for joining with us. Hope you all had a great time just like we did. See you